What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I hope my videos are interesting enough for you to go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that bell so you don't miss any more videos from me and you get notifications when I upload videos. If you do not know me, I go by Mahlani K. All of my social medias are Mahlani K. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, everything. Mahlani K. Mahlani K. Mahlani K. Mahlani K. But anyway, by the title, I'm pretty sure you guys already know this is going to be the story time of when I told my mom that I was pregnant. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. This is October. I had told the father that I was kind of thinking that I was, but I was not for sure if I was or I wasn't. But I just kind of had like a little bit of a feeling that I was. So he's like, okay, we'll take a test together and blah, 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 blah. None of that ended up happening. So I ended up leaving because I was at his house. So I ended up leaving his house. And at the time, I was in a moving situation and just a lot of stuff going on. Okay, it was a lot of stuff going on, and so we were staying at my grandpa's house. So I went back to my grandpa's house, and I tried to just brush it off. Me and him started to kind of argue a lot over the situation and go back and forth about it because I think he thought that I was lying. So we kind of went back and forth about it a lot. And I kind of put it on the back burner. I'm like, I have better things to worry about, and I'm not gonna stress myself out over this. It is what it is. So we're gonna fast forward to December when I moved into my new house. I moved in house and I started looking at myself and I'm like, I'm kind of starting to look a little bit different than how I usually look, and it's kind of being a little crazy, like, am I pregnant? Like, me? Like, can I possibly be having a baby? Like, that's what most shocked me and still shocks me to this day. Like, could me, Mahliyah, be having a baby? Like, what? Okay, so me and my best friend was not communicating at the time. So I decided to message her on Facebook and tell her, like, I gotta talk to you because you are somebody who I trust. I do not trust that many people. So I just want to talk to you about the situation that I think I'm in right now. And, she was very willingly and openly to talk to me. And she's like, you just gotta go to the doctor and you just gotta, you know, check yourself out, stuff like that. And I'm like, like, I'm not gonna say I'm scared, but I'm a little worried. Like, how can I possibly be having a baby, etc., etc. So she was like really understanding with me because I had just moved to a new town. She did find doctors for me. She even came out to the town that I lived in and was like, look, you need to go buy some prenatal pills if you're not gonna go to the doctor right away. You just need to, do what you gotta do, because if you are, then you are. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change it. And, so she was like really supportive. So she was basically like the first person who I told. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward. Okay, it's December, so I'm like, I'm gonna go to the doctor, and for Christmas, if I am, I'm going to, give my mom the papers telling her that I'm pregnant. Okay. I don't know why I was so worried about it because I was 20 years old, and my estimated date after I had my baby, I will be 21 years old. So the my estimations of me, like googling stuff and looking stuff up and like counting up the dates, I will have the baby sometime in April, and in May 17th, I will be turning 21. So I'm like, I don't know why I'm so like, kind of, nervous, because I'm like gonna be 21 years old and I'm still scared, just because like it was just, like, how can I be having a baby? Not the, oh, I'm like terrified part, but just like I don't want to disappoint anybody, and just how can I be having a baby? That's basically it. Okay, so I end up calling a doctor that my best friend found for me. I called one that was literally up the street from me, but I had no idea because it was a new town. So she was the real MVP for looking up these doctors for me, because she didn't even live in a town with me, and she was able to find them and send pictures and addresses to me and phone numbers and all of that. So I'm calling them. Their wait time is like 5 years. I swear to God, like literally I was on hold for at least 2.5 hours just to talk to somebody to tell me that they don't have OBGYNs there. I was highly upset. I was so frustrated. I'm like, this one will be so easy because it's right up the street from me. The other one is kind of a distance. It's not that far, but I know that you have to take buses. I don't know the bus route out here. Like, you have to walk. I don't know about walking out here. And it's like, that was so frustrating to me. So once that one, was like, oh, we can give you another one. And I'm like, I don't need you to give me anything. I needed you guys to do it there so I could figure out what's going on. So I was just really frustrated. I ended up hanging up on the lady, doing all of that. So basically, I went and checked out the other doctor. Boy, was this a mission. I got up one morning. I was like, look, I'm going to do it. Because Christmas passed by. New Year's passed by. And those were, I'm like, okay, well, I could tell her for Christmas. I could tell her for New Year's. And after those days, her birthday is in January, so I'm like, you know what, I can tell her in January, this is the last time I can give it to her as a surprise and hope that she don't be so upset. So I gets up, I think it's January 6th or January 7th, I can't remember, but it's either January 6th or January 7th. So I get up and I, get myself ready. I done looked up how to take the bus, and I knew I would have to either walk there, which would be about 15 minutes, or walk home. So I knew I would have to walk one way or the other if I got lost. So I ended up getting on a bus, and since I didn't know anything about this town, I got on the bus, and instead of me asking the bus driver to let me know when a certain stop got on, I didn't say anything. The stop passed me up. And then the town that I used to live in, when you on a bus, if you miss your stop, it's going automatically back to the train station. You can stay on the bus, and it can go all the way back around, and you can get off at your stop. This bus, it goes to a certain stop, and you have to get off because that's the end of that bus. So I was like so confused, and I'm like, you know what? I finally asked him, like, look, I don't know where I'm going. Can you just help me? He's like, you should have been got off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm new to this town. I just moved out here in December. And he's like, you should have said something to me. Woo woo. Ask the next bus driver. He'll help you out. He's a nice guy. All right, so get on that one. Asked him. He told me the spot, and I'm telling you, I had to walk to the doctor's office, and it felt like the longest walk of my life, just because you walking to see what's finna happen. So it's like the longest walk, and it's kind of cold because it is January, and I'm texting my friend, and I'm like, she's like, is you going? I'm like, yeah, I'm going. She's like, don't be scared, best friend, and all of this, and I'm like, I'm still gonna be scared no matter what you say. I'm still going to be nervous, and I finally got there, and they're like, what are you here for? And I'm just like, really, what am I here for? I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm here for. So I go there and fill out papers, and of course every kid who is so used to their parents filling out their papers, that was me. I'm filling out papers like, yo, what is going on? What is this, and what is this, and what is this? So, I fill out the papers, and they tell me to go take a pee test, so obviously they can check my pee, etc., etc. So I did all of that good stuff, and a nurse ended up calling me in my room, and in the room, and she's like, okay, well, your pregnancy test came back positive. You're pregnant. Congratulations. And I'm like, I knew it. And she's like, you don't seem too happy. And I'm like, just because I kind of had a idea that I was, so I don't really know what to say about it. So she's like, well, congratulations. So as she's like adding up my estimated due date, I'm seeing it with her, like April 29th. And she's like, well, how did you know that? I'm like, because I Google a lot of stuff. She's like, oh, well, that's good. Do you have prenatals? No. What took you so long to come to the doctor? Find out, because I was already 6 months then. I'm like, just being scared, being in denial, not thinking it could be me who could have a baby, like just all of this stuff. Me moving and not knowing where a doctor's office is, just all of this stuff in one. So she's like, you got to take care of yourself, and just make sure you follow up with your doctor's visits now. Don't fall behind. And I'm like, okay, so what about ultrasound? Could I get that done today? She's like, well, you can't get that done today. And me not being a parent, me not being around people who really have kids, even though I do have friends that have, excuse me, it is 5:05 in the morning, even though I should be asleep. But even though I do have kids that, even though I do know people who have kids, I never went to doctor's appointments with them. So I never knew what to expect when you're going to a doctor's appointment. So she ended up telling me, no, but you could set an ultrasound appointment with the lady at the desk. I ended up doing that, and that ultrasound was just set for January 28th. So I left, and I texted my best friend. She's like, what happened? I'm like, well, you already know what happened. You already know the results. Like, why you asking me this? And like, now it's getting a little bit chilly. It's like 4 o'clock. I end up texting my brother, asking him, was he home? Because I'm like, look, I'll have him pick me up from this destination, so I don't have to walk all the way home, because since I missed the bus, I ended up using all of my money. So I knew that I would have to walk home now. But he didn't respond fast enough. So I took it that he was still at work. So I made it my business to just go ahead and walk home. So I made it home. I left the doctor's office around 4 something. I made it home at maybe 7 something, because I walked slow. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say 7 something. I'm going to say maybe 5, almost 6, because it is winter time and it gets dark fast. Okay, so I make it home, and the next day is my mom's birthday. So I'm like, okay, tonight at 12 o'clock, I'm going to give her this piece of paper. I was working on her birthday board. What did she do with that birthday board? I spent a long time on that birthday board. I wonder what she did with that birthday board. Like, seriously, what did she do? So I was working on her birthday board, so I hurried up and finished that. And then like at 12 o'clock, I'm going to give her the board, because I didn't let her look at it. 12 o'clock, I'm going to give her the board, and I'm also going to get her this piece of paper. So it's like 11:59. I'm getting like so nervous. And I'm like, look, if she's downstairs with my brother, I don't really want to tell her. I just want to tell her by herself. Like, I don't really want it to be an announcement. Like, I just really want to tell her and, see where that goes from there. So she comes upstairs at exactly 12 o'clock. So I'm finna get ready to go downstairs to tell her that I want to talk to her. She's already coming upstairs. So I'm like, okay, well, happy birthday. And I got something to tell you. Let me go get your birthday board. So I grab a chair, and she's like, I don't want to sit in a chair. I'm like, the chair isn't for you, it's for me. So I sit in a chair, and I'm like, look, I love you, and I hope you are proud of me. I hope I made you proud. Like, I gave her the biggest speech ever. I'm like, I never want to be a failure to you. I never want to feel like a disappointment to you. I just hope you still love me after this. She's like, what's going on? So I just started bawling, crying. Like, I started crying, and I was just all emotional, nose running and slobbing. And I turned the board over and gave her the board. She's like, oh my God, fat butt, because she called me fat butt. She's like, fat butt, this is so beautiful. I thank you so much. And I had the paper under my leg, and I'm like, and I also have something else to give you. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I pull the paper from under my leg, and it's folded up, and I hand it to her. She unfolds it, and she started crying because I was crying. So now she's looking at the paper. She got her eyes like this. And she's like, am I reading this correctly? And I'm still just... And she's like, am I reading this right? And I'm just sitting there like, well, what are you reading? Like, and she said, it's my baby finna have a baby. And when she said that, I just started crying even more. Like, I just started crying even more. Like, it made it even worse just to hear her say it. To hear her know, it just made me cry even more. Like, literally. And then she hugged me, and she's like, I already knew. I'm like, bro, I'm sitting over here crying, and you already knew? Like, what do you mean? So she's like, it's a mom's thing. Like, I've been looking at you, and I could tell you my daughter. I watch you every day, and I know you. I raised you. I know how you are. You've been sleeping like crazy. You've been eating like crazy. Like, she just went on this big speech and yada, yada, yada. And she's like, you're not a disappointment to me. This is a blessing. Thank you, Jesus. And she started praying and just thanking God. And she's like, this is a blessing. And then she's like, came back down to reality and was like, well, do the dad know? And I'm like, yeah. And she said that because my mom and my kid's father never met each other. It's funny now because it's all good, but it was just like, bruh, Monia, what are you doing with your life when you have a baby, or you're finna have a baby by somebody who your parents never met, or your mom has never met? Like, what is your life coming to? So she's like, okay, well, how did he feel about it? And at this time, my mom really knew nothing about, specifically about him. I only really told her, like, good things. Like, she didn't know he had more kids, because I never told her about that. Like, she's just like, how did he feel about it? And, of course, I did not tell her that we were going back and forth, arguing and all of that stuff. But I was just like, he's happy, and, he's okay about it. Because I don't want to ruin her moment. She's happy, so I want her to think everybody else is happy. So she's like, hug me, and she's like, I'm so happy. I love you so much. I swear this is a blessing in disguise, and this is such a big blessing, and I'm going to be a grandma, and I'm going to tell everybody right now. So she just grabs her phone, and she posts it on Facebook, and she's texting everybody, and everybody's typing back to her like, congratulations. And I can't believe, because my nickname for my family is Nene. I can't believe Nene's going to have a baby, and just all of this crazy stuff. So she goes downstairs and wake my brother up. So she yells, Fat Bud, come here. So I come downstairs, and my brother is laying in his bed crying. And I'm just like, oh my God, look what I did. Like, it's just like a mad cry. It's just like a happy cry. Like, what is going on right now? So my mom's like, I come down here to hand him the paper, and he tell me he'll read it later. And I told him, like, no, you got to get up and you got to read this now. He's like, what? What's wrong? She's like, your sister's gonna have a baby. And she's like, and he just started crying. And then my brother got up, and he hugged me, and he's just like, oh my God, I can't believe you're gonna have a baby, and he's crying and he's crying, and then they're like, well, why didn't you tell us? And the day before, the day before, I had asked my brother to could he take me somewhere, and I don't know why, but he said no. I told him the library, but I was not going to tell him where I was going until we got in the car and we pulled off away from the house. But he ended up saying no, so I didn't force it. So that's why I ended up going by myself, getting lost, and going through this big shebang. But he's like, I'm so sorry that I said no to you. I lost one of my contact lenses, so I wouldn't be able to see while I was driving, but I'm sorry you had to go through this all by yourself, this 6 whole months, and I'm going to be there for you the rest of the time, and whatever you need, just let me know, etc., etc. So now him and my mom is crying, and then my brother's like, my brother is like, well, have you felt any kicks? Have you felt any movement? And I'm like, yeah, because I started to notice them, and I was recording it. And then he's like, well, can I touch your belly? And then he touched it, and then he just started crying even more. And basically, I had like a really good turnout. This eyebrow is like eyebrow. Why do I always say eyebrow? It's not an eyebrow. It's an eyebrow. It's kind of like irritating me a little bit. Like if I turn this way, you can see like the eyebrow, but if I'm like this way, you can't really see it because my forehead is so big. Anyway, like I had a great turnout. Everybody was so happy. My mom woke up the next morning. She called my aunt. My aunt was happy. She called my granny. My granny was happy. She called my grandpa. My grandpa was happy. So it was just like a really good turnout for me. So like what I can say to other girls that make them more comfortable to go ahead and just tell their parents that they are pregnant, they're gonna have a baby, is just tell them, because most of the time your parents might know. They do see you every day. They do see the patterns that you do every day, and sometimes they do know, like my mom knew. Okay, so in my case, I was 20 years old. I was going to turn 21 years old. Okay, so that is my case. I know some girls are not in that predicament that I am in when I'm basically grown, finna have kids. I know some girls are, they're younger, and they might really feel like a disappointment to their parents. They might really feel like their parents might kick them out. Their parents might be mad. Their parents might yell. If you feel like your parents are going to hit you, let me tell you something. You contact like a hotline. You go to the doctor. You explain to the doctor without telling them that you feel like you're going to be hurt. But sometimes you might need a parent to go, depending on how old you are, because I'm not really for sure. But you might need a parent to go. But you explain to them, like, look, I have household situations, without really telling them. Because, like doctor these days, they're going to get in your business. They're going to have DCFS on you and, and all of that stuff. And, like, real note, just tell your parents, like, they might know. I know a mom perspective. I don't really know a dad perspective because I don't deal with mine. But, if you have a dad and you're close with your dad, I'm pretty sure your dad is going to understand too. Like, your parents going to be mad at you if they be mad at you. They're going to be mad at you, but I'm telling you, they're going to love you. They're going to end up loving your baby. They're going to be excited after everything just wears off of them, actually being mad. Once it sinks in with them, like, yo, I'm going to be a grandparent. It's going to hit them. They're going to be happy and just so excited. Like, I'm telling you, if that case doesn't happen to be that way. Some people are not fortunate to have happy parents or parents that are happy for them to have babies. It's in religion, it's in culture, it's in the way of their life. So sometimes it doesn't always happen that way, that kids get the response that they want. Sometimes you do get an angry response, and it flows away within time. Sometimes you get an angry response and it doesn't flow away. Sometimes kids, parents don't talk to them for periods of time. And what I can say for those kids, girls, boys, anybody, what I can say for you guys that will be in that situation where you feel like your parents will not talk to you for a period of time, or you are in that situation where your parents aren't talking to you for a period of time, you have to stay strong. You have to realize that you are carrying another life. You are carrying another life that you created. You are carrying something that is basically you. So when you take care of yourself, you are taking care of your baby. If you're stressing yourself out, you are stressing out your baby. If you are not comfortable with yourself, if you're feeling icky, anything that you're feeling, your baby is feeling. If you're crying every day, if you're stressed out, if you're not eating, if you're trying to harm yourself, you are basically trying to harm your baby because you are carrying a mini you. So just for people, like I said, girls or boys that might watch this video and might go through something like this, just know you are not alone. There is other kids out there that is struggling with the same thing. And even though I was finna be 21 years old, I still struggled and still got nervous to tell my mom. So I'm not perfect and nobody else is perfect. But tell your parents, and if they be mad at you, let me tell you something. Even if they don't want to talk to you for a period of time, let me tell you, you will get through it. Because you have to get through it. Because you have a mini you on the way. And you got to be strong for that mini you. And you gotta be strong for that mini you. I have to repeat that because that's the truth. You do have to be strong for the life that you are carrying and you are bringing into the world. But that's basically how I told my mom that I was pregnant, and I got like an amazing response from her. And now my mom is so in love with the twins. Oh gosh, finding out I had twins. Well, boy, is that a different story. But she's so in love with the twins. She loves them to death. Gosh, I can't even take them to their dad house without her texting 50,000 billion quadrillion times. Like, how is Nana's babies? And Nana, I miss you guys. And she comes in my room because I still live with her. She comes in my room at least 50 billion times a day. She just loves these little girls to death. And so do my brother. He comes home from work and he's like, where are the babies? But it's like, I got a great response. I'm not really for sure of how I thought the response was going to happen. Like, I was kind of hoping she would be like, look, it's cool. You finna be 21 years old. Like, I was kind of hoping for the response that I got because of my age. But I did expect her to be upset. One, she did not meet the father before I chose to have kids with him. Because I lived in her household. You know, like little stuff like that. But I did expect or did hope for the reaction that I got because of my age. Like I said, I was going to be 21 years old. Like, I wasn't like, no shade, because I feel like teen moms who do their thing for their kids are amazing. You guys are the real MVPs, but I'm just saying for me, I feel like she could not be mad because I was not a teen mom. Like, I slid past that phase. So I feel like she should not be mad because I was not a teen mom. I was not pregnant as a teen. So, that's my story. I hope you guys like it. I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you get notifications when I upload videos. Upload videos. Hey. And also there will be more videos to come. More Mommy Mondays, more story times. Obviously more makeup videos. I try to lay off the makeup videos for a bit and just do like a lot of talking, but I'm not bring them back. There will be review videos on stuff that I bought. I don't get anything for free. Everything that I'm going to review, I bought it. I bought it. I bought it. But anyway, follow me on Twitter. Like I said, Monia K. Follow me on Instagram, Monia K. Follow me on... Add me on Snapchat, Monia K. I think that is about it. If you have a live me, follow me on live me. I do go live on there sometimes. It's alright. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.